here with Kung Fu Culture, and we got a lot to talk about. We'll see how long it takes, really. But of course, we're here to help you to enlighten your mind and strengthen your body, like the Chinese quote says. So uh, right now, Mona Kimura is so popular online. Let's go ahead and talk about why she wins in uh, like pro kickboxing and like, does this have anything to do with kung fu or Sanda in particular? Actually, yes. So we'll talk about it right after we do the announcements. So uh, we still have the quarter going on at UCLA. So we've had one student at least that he joined. So it was not a UCLA student and joined the gym because we are a public school. So you are able to join the gym. And then once you join the gym, then you can enroll in the classes. So we have tons of martial art classes, and hopefully we can even, so, well, UCLA is a little bit different from other universities because we have instructional classes for martial arts, but then we also have clubs. So that is same idea where the club only focuses on a specific sport. And actually, a lot of times there are like national leagues of, so say like right now, UCLA isn't NCAA wrestling school, right? But we have club level wrestling, and so we had one young woman who won the collegiate like club level freestyle tournament. So that is still very impressive, even though we don't have like a Division 1 team. It's still very good because wrestling is tough, and I'm sure there are plenty of tough wrestlers at all the levels. So they don't all go to the same Division 1 schools. They don't all go to Penn State or Iowa or whatever, or Oklahoma State. Um, so so there's basically different levels. So NCAA Division 1, 2. We have, I think there's even like junior college level. But anyway, so we're hoping to even get Sanda at the club status. So right now we do have it at the class status. So you're free to take that. If we can get the club status going, then we can be doing or even like organizing events with the National Wushu Kung Fu Federation, stuff like that. So it can only help help the sport to grow, help people know about it more, because it seems like people really like the whole idea. Like when they see it online, like they see all the highlights of like competitions and stuff. Everyone's like, "Whoa, that's crazy!" And we just see all the big throws and all the different like knockouts and all these different things. So um, it is exciting, but I think people still don't know too much about it. But actually, that can bring us to today's topic, right? Mona Kimura. A lot of people know who she is. So she's not Chinese, obviously, from the name. That should be a indication, right? She's not Chinese. So, she's from Japan, but she's winning using the sidekick in pro kickboxing. So pro kickboxing rules. So kind of talk about that at first, right? So what is pro kickboxing rules? And she's in the organization called K1, and K1 is kind of like the fundamental organization that really helped to establish the current pro kickboxing rules. So like, what is that? It's really pretty much only striking oriented. So you cannot catch kicks, you can't clinch up, you can only be punching, kicking, you can throw knees, but you can't like clinch, like hang on to their neck or their head and then throw knees repeatedly. You cannot be grabbing the other person. It's really only strikes. So all the punches, like so jabs, cross, hook, uppercuts. You can do some knee strikes, but you can also do all the kicks, really. So you can it's like no kicks are actually really barred unless it's maybe something to an illegal area, like right on the knee or something like that. So what are we seeing is that, or what we've seen develop is that over the years, there's been like a way of doing kickboxing. So pro kickboxing seems really reliant and really like roundhouse kick based, right? So you can still do, of course, all the punches and kicks, but people are throwing these roundhouse kicks all the time, and maybe for variety, they're throwing some push kicks, right? So like with your toes pointing up, right? So it's usually you'll see like even these high level kickboxers doing just two kicks. So it'll be like at different ranges or different heights of their opponent, but it's pretty much just like the round going in or the push kick going forward. So along comes Mona Kimura, who actually is going to give you a little bit of a background here. So kind of have some stuff written down for you. Let's talk about her background. So she, like as a little girl, she started in karate, but then she moved over to boxing. So before transitioning into kickboxing, Kimura was a high-level amateur boxer. She was a Japanese national junior champion and represented Japan at the 2022 IBA Women's World Boxing Champions. So she's world class. So she's already world class with the hands. So that kind of gives you an idea that at least if someone gets close, she can be punching them. So this is really really perfect for kickboxing. But then I think the whole idea of the sidekick could have come from the karate training when she was young. So karate does have the sidekick. So you will be. So it might have even been like her favorite kick. So it's actually really one of my favorite kicks. So I always like doing it. So you'll see that she relies, or not really, actually in a way it's like not really even relying on it, it's just like she's just so good at it, she trained it so well that she can throw it quickly, and her flexibility is so good that she can kick the side, or she can throw the side kick to the face, and that's really one of the one of the better things that you could be doing, especially say in a Sanda match. There are all these different knockouts with sidekick to the face. There's a really famous one from many years ago where in a pro Sanda match, like one guy does a back spinning side thrust kick and it goes right into his opponent's face, instant knockout. So this kick is very special, but pro kickboxers are not really utilizing it. I think in pro kickboxing, the closest you'll get to someone who's not Chinese using it would be Tawanchai. Well, besides Mona Kimura, you see Tawanchai kind of trying to make his version of the sidekick. He calls it like the Thai sidekick, and so there are like a little bit of differences of how he kind of throws it, but ultimately the result is the same. So then that's kind of a sad thing where it's like some people will be arguing like the a sidekick is like his is better or different, but a lot of ultimately it's roughly the same. You get the same kind of results and stuff. So besides Tawanchai, now we have Mona doing this kick, dominating, right? So and it's so then we've got another thing that gives her an advantage, right? So then also she's a southpaw, so that's also something that really can confuse opponents, right? Because a lot of people are used to the right-handed or orthodox stance where you'll stand with your left leg in lead. There's so basically there are less southpaws, so you're getting people who are training in pro kickboxing pretty much only fighting against people who are right-handed and people who are only throwing roundhouse kicks and push kicks, right? Or in Muay Thai they call them teeps. So you're pretty much only seeing that. So when you get like a whole sport where it's pretty, was it like a pretty homogenous or of what people are doing, which I really enjoy watching pro kickboxing. But you know if you watch it, you'll see that this is kind of like the way pro kickboxing is, right? So you get some people who are better at the boxing aspect, or some people who are better at putting it together, like Chinggis Alizov. from one championship, just destroying all the Thais who try to make that transition into kickboxing. um, you'll see how basically it becomes like the person who can combine all these things together in a smooth way, then they can dominate, right? But then you'll see people like Mona who can combine things in an even more, I guess, out of the kickboxing box. So then she can dominate in that way because she's using a technique that very, very few of her like peers or men or women in pro kickboxing, very few people are throwing any kind of sidekick. So that's why like her style is blending. I guess you can say it's like kind of blending, of course, the really high level, high quality boxing with even like that karate kick. Plus, of course, she's doing the roundhouse kicks and stuff. I would like to claim her as a Sanda practitioner, but it's because Sanda has the sidekick, but I know she did karate, so I know they have a sidekick too. So she's really helping to bring the sidekick into the limelight. So I personally love that kick. But the thing is, like say if you were to see like Sanda competition at the world level, you will actually see more people with this more similar style to Mona. So I'm not saying that Mona isn't unique and very high level, but one of the reasons why she wins is because she is unique in that kickboxing bubble, but she wouldn't necessarily be the most unique in the Sanda competition world, right? So I don't want to try to diminish her in any way. I really appreciate her, but that's why I want to kind of claim her as a Sanda practitioner because she's doing what it was totally like Sanda like, right? So what about her sidekick? It makes it so effective. And why is it a really good kick even for Sanda, right? So she's using the sidekick as a jab. A lot of people kind of describe like the sidekick, uh, like you should be using it similarly to a jab. And if you can be throwing it head height, face height, you're gonna hit a lot of people, right? Chances are you could get a knockout, or you're just gonna make them scared, and they're gonna be trying to keep their distance. You'll also see, um, that linear versus that circular force. So Kimura's attacks are almost entirely linear. So this is a hallmark of traditional kung fu, like northern kung fu styles, and Sanda as well. So um, she's that's why I'm saying like I really want to claim her, but I know she's not. She's um oh, and also like the one of the other little details about the sidekick, this way of fighting is the whole weight distribution on your feet. So it's not so much of a 50-50 even weight distribution between the balls of your feet. Of course, you see her standing on one leg, so that means all the weight is on the back leg. So um, you're going to see this type of difference. So in a way, of course it's still different from like the how a lot of people who have a Muay Thai background, they will also be kind of keeping their weight on the back leg, but that other leg, the lead leg, is still touching the ground more than Mona's, it seems. So still a little bit different, but main thing is like if you see Mona's training, like she's jump roping or hopping on a treadmill, so she is still keeping light on the feet. So it's not like she's like standing all on one leg and like putting so much weight on there. So uh, that's one of the main differences. And so what like I kind of put a little breakdown paragraph here is like why is Sanda advantageous for K1? Right, so the reason she keeps winning is that her opponents are trained to defend against angles, so like roundhouse kicks and hooks, but they aren't used to constant pressure on the center line. By the time they try to solve the sidekick, she uses her elite boxing background to catch them with a straight left through the middle. So um, you do see this a lot. She bloodies her opponents, um, and basically just knocks them down. We did a breakdown of one of my favorite exchanges in her last match where the opponent tried to do a lead leg roundhouse kick and Mona hollowed out, so she pulled that leg back and like she as she kind of came back to her normal fighting stance, she did a counter roundhouse kick towards the opponent's head because she's so flexible that she can just throw it straight up to the head. It landed, and then she followed up with a side kick, which knocked the opponent on her back. So uh, these are the types of things that you can totally do with that side kick, but you're just not seeing people do it. So it's like I really, again, like I don't want to uh, say that she's not special. She's extremely special, and I really appreciate her. But one of the things that makes her extra special is that the other people aren't doing the sidekick, and so with this heavy reliance on the push kick and roundhouse kicks, that's what's going to make someone who's like a Sanda practitioner stand out. So in a way, it's like a Sanda practitioner who's done a lot of the sidekick stuff. Because I'm saying like a lot of people from other countries. So since Sanda is a world sport, you'll see people in competition from other countries. Not they don't all do the sidekick, right? So, but the ones who get used to it and do it with a lot of proficiency and accuracy and good timing. And if you can kick to the face, you're going to have great results. All right, let's see who. Gorilla Grip Catch Club. Yeah, the power of the sidekick. So true. So, um, yeah, you're seeing it where it's people are able to get knockouts or at least knock the person down. A lot of times that's kind of what you'll see where it's like someone comes in and then you kick them just right and they fold. They literally fold and they're sat down. Yep, Sanda uses it all the time. Yes. So um that's why it's like I want to try to I wish we could claim Mona Kimura as a Sanda practitioner, but yeah, she had a different way like she had different inputs that with all those powers combined, she turned into what appears to be like a Sanda fighter, which is pretty amazing. Gorilla Grip Catch Club. Yep. And pendulum kicks. Yes, so getting those kicks up and straight in with precision and power, it takes time. And I think one of the reasons why you don't necessarily see the side kick in all these other styles is because you do kind of need like this oblique strength, and you also need some strength in the like some of the glute muscles and all the other like the it's called the tensor fasciae lata, the TFL, all these muscles that are on our hips. You need to use them to bring that leg up to the side, and then on top of that, you got to be able to throw it out, and then on top of that, you have to have some good strength because I remember when I was competing in the national tournaments, all right, basically any Sanda tournament, right? So um, you if you do a side kick to someone and like all the adrenaline's flowing at that time, it's like you like you as soon as you make contact, it's like really hitting a wall. It just feels different from sparring where you just like it's not as serious. So your partner is still trying hard, but it's more for practice, right? But once you get into the ring and it's you're trying to win and you kick them and it's like very very hard. So the things that kind of go into the sidekick is kind of like the balance, the strength, of course like the precision of the aim and the timing, plus like the whole idea of trying to keep your weight and everything going forward so that if you kick someone in a tournament, that you just don't fall backwards, because it's really a lot like kicking a wall, and they want to try to catch it or they want to keep coming forward. So having that balance is really key. The other thing though too that I mentioned think elsewhere is that when the sidekicks come into your face, don't don't really focus on catching it. You definitely want to parry that. Just don't worry about trying to catch that because catching above your head is like you're reaching up to try to catch something. Just parry it, or you can parry it, or you can even like in like the Philly shell kind of stance where a lot of times they actually kind of catch with their glove, right? So that's one of the ways that you can be defending yourself against that that sidekick to the face. Okay. All right. Let's see. Gorilla Grip Catch Club. I think also other styles like Muay Thai and karate prefer a more square stance. Sanda can be linear like TKD at times. Yes. Yeah, I think some people are like, I think maybe those who definitely um, are like more reliant on the striking, they'll definitely be a little bit more bladed. Then you'll see some who really love the grappling, so they'll stand a little more square. So I guess it's kind of like the what you develop, like what like where your strengths are. So then you kind of want to be ready, like to catch a kick and then take the person down, or to parry a punch and then level change and go for a double leg or something like that. So, but yeah, or you get some people like I did a video. I was thinking maybe I should have done something a little more substantial, explaining the Tenjing Wang's boxing in the world championship for Sanda. But yeah, you see some people who are pretty good at kind of transitioning to from striking to grappling and going back and forth. That's kind of your goal in Sanda. But yeah, there's so many different aspects or elements to practicing Sanda. Like you have to learn all the different elements, and then if you want to compete, then you have to try to put everything together. So I can see why it's kind of a pretty like advanced and challenging sport, and I guess I can see why people might want to do less. I guess, and so, um, but I think this is what makes Sanda so exciting. But yeah, I think that's why you'll see all these different types of stances as well. Going back to your point, but like, what are we seeing? I mean, it even was a couple weeks ago. I think I did a podcast about the new kickboxing meta, and you're seeing these people who are doing like outside of the box type of techniques, and they're just dominating like all these legendary kickboxers from Thailand, and when they get in like kickboxing matches, but you're even seeing the Dagestani Muay Thai winning in professional Muay Thai. Who is that? There was like a Japanese person who just won in one championship. His match. Um, so yeah, you're seeing these people who are not exactly keeping the doing the traditional Muay Thai and just dominating in both kickboxing and Muay Thai even. So I think things are probably going to change. So like I think what I saw, or at least I thought, that when Tawanchai was really promoting his sidekick, it was just like a change, right? So they're almost like recognizing the effectiveness of the sidekicks, and but of course then he tried to say like, oh, mine is different, and which I guess maybe the way he kind of throws it, the way he tries to throw it, maybe, but again, the usefulness is the same as any sidekick really. And I guess maybe like say karate, they try to do like they call it like the knife edge. So it's like instead of the foot, the bottom of the foot, they try to do like a little angle. So they try to get the side of the pinky side of the foot going in. So there's all these subtle differences, but ultimately it's like it's a sidekick. So wherever it hits you, it's still not going to be pleasant. Gorilla Grip Catch Club. My friend Justin competed in a Sanda tournament in Texas. We had worked on fast strikes and fast takedowns, not overexerting for the leg catch and snap down. Yeah. How did it go? Did you accomplish? Yeah, yeah, let me know how it went. Did, So I'll let you. I'll give you some time to type that out. No, but yeah, it's cool. Yeah, it's. So it was I think was a couple years ago. Wasn't there the the world tournament was there, right? Or was it in that the world one or I think also nowadays the main coach is in Texas, right? The USA Sanda coach. Gorilla Grip Catch Club. He won second place. Nice. Nice. Congrats. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Yeah, it'd be great if at UCLA we can get a catch club going. But I think we'll focus on one sport at a time. So we're gonna try to get the Sanda club going, and yeah, we'll try to be at these different tournaments. So I do have one student who signed up for the national Sanda tournament coming up in Phoenix. So we'll definitely be there. So if anyone wants to say hello, so we'll be there. That's of course, that's through, uh, of course, like the United States Wushu Kung Fu Association. Gorilla Grip Catch Club. Yes, you're correct about that. I live in Florida, and we go there from time to time. Oh, do you guys go to train there with the team? And also, so then do you have a Sanda club or Sanda gym in Florida? Yeah, because it'd be pretty great to grow the basically Sanda because so the Taolu or all the forms and stuff like that's really popular. That's always been popular, and um, I guess people would just they're a little more scared to get hit and stuff. But for me, it's more exciting. So I feel like it's always a puzzle to try to put all the kung fu stuff together, all the kung fu techniques together and put it to the test, right? That was kind of one of the things too that I kind of want to get into talking about regarding the so there was this martial art university in Nanjing. So kind of want to see if maybe we can even go there to show you what it was like because it was a really amazing like kung fu institution. And the university though it had to shut down because of World War II and invasions from Japan and stuff. So, but the university exists to this day. It's definitely like now full on university, like with other subjects and stuff. But I want to see if I can't go there and like because I believe that they actually have a lot of the photographs and stuff of that time period. And a few of my instructors have direct like lineage from that Nanjing. We call the Nanjing Guoshu University, so it's like the National Art University. All right, Gorilla Grip Catch Club. We have a kung fu dojo. However, it's not an official club. We work sets privately but train with other fighters. Okay, cool, cool. Sounds good. Keep it up. Yeah, well, that'd be cool if you can get more like Sanda tournaments going, so you can be competing in that as well, like more often, like more frequently. Because say like in California right now, it seems like there's like one or two organizations they're trying to do like light. It's really interesting because it's I think they call it no knockout tournaments. So in a way, it's kind of like I think it'd be a little bit heavier than light sparring, but I guess the goal is to have more people feel safe and comfortable doing Muay Thai. So those are the types of tournaments that are happening a lot here in LA nowadays. Um, so I guess it's like light contact to the head. So in a way, it's like it's kind of weird. It's like I don't know how you could really prevent a knockout, but maybe they don't really allow them to like kick to the head or something. I don't know. But yeah, I think it probably helps to bring more people to the tournament if they feel a little less scared. All right. Yeah, Gorilla Grip Catch Club. Go ahead and like, and if you can, let's. Are we already friends on online or whatever? If not, like, we should try to collaborate somehow. So that'd be cool. Yeah, and I really appreciate you chatting. So yeah, so basically our goals are trying to really get the competition going for Sanda and try to see if we can't make a pretty strong team out of the university. Uh, but going back to our main point, Mona Kimura, I think what's funny is that so because Sanda, you can be putting together like boxing, kickboxing, wrestling. So those are the different components of Sanda. So without the wrestling part, right, that Mona has put together the boxing and kickboxing with some of the traditional styles. So, like, unfortunately, we can't claim her as doing traditional Chinese styles, but she blended the traditional Japanese style of karate. So, this is really, in my opinion, the spirit of Sanda. So, that's why I think she's really wonderful, and it's really showing the capability of kind of a Sanda approach to pro kickboxing. And I think she's just, I think she's definitely one of many emerging, like kind of new meta. What I was talking about a few weeks ago on our podcast about like the new kickboxing meta. So she's one um, of these the kind of new meta practitioners where they're just dominating people who are only doing the standard, like kind of traditional way of doing kickboxing and the traditional way of doing Muay Thai. So it doesn't mean that these traditional ways. It's like it's weird because like so it makes me modern way. So like there's been a modern like style that has developed of kickboxing and Muay Thai. So then that has been around for a little while now, right? And then people who are like learning from that and blending in other things, then they're just doing extremely well. And Mona is one of these who's like the most popular. Gorilla Grip Catch Club. There have been many Filipino Sanda fighters in one championship. Yes, yes, there have been. So they used to be from that one gym called Team Lakai, and now they've kind of split off, right? So, but they still exist, right? So, I think it was a Danny Kingad. He's still fighting, um, and yeah, I think he had a really good fight. This was like probably a year ago where um, he had to fight against a really good freestyle wrestler, and then uh, basically he had that Sanda base, and then they said that they brought in some more wrestlers, like some more like freestyle wrestlers for him to train with, and then he was able to use his striking and his takedown defense and his wrestling practice to win. So um, that's why I think also Sanda is a really good base. I think it's probably one of the hardest bases to develop, where it is such a mix of everything. Um, but then it's really easy to then be able to add or strengthen these different aspects, right? So like if you need a little more wrestling in it, it can be a little more easy to add these things. So um so even though say like someone who might go in training in MMA, I think I would say it's still a little bit different because Sanda, at least from one of my Sanda instructors, so one of my Sanda instructors was um, from like he was one of the guys who developed Sanda as a sport, and so his name was Jian Min, so Guan, Coach Guan. So you actually will find his interviews and stuff a lot, especially if you know Chinese. But he's very revered in the Sanda communities in China. But he always tried to emphasize like the kickboxing ability. But then since Sanda kickboxing has that transition to the grab and then to the takedown, I think that's really, really baked in. And So if you need to strengthen up something, then you can just focus on, like, say, cross training with maybe just focusing on using the hands, right? So you're focusing on the boxing, and then focusing on the kickboxing, and then maybe just focus on the takedowns or the traditional Chinese wrestlings and all these different things. You can just kind of beef up, but you already have a pretty solid base that's pretty flexible. You can add all kinds of things onto your good Sanda base. So yeah, I think it's one of the better base styles. All right. Okay, so I think I made my point. So Sanda's a great base. I wish Mona was a Sanda practitioner, but she incorporates a lot of the traditional karate with the boxing and kickboxing so well. She looks like a Sanda fighter to me, at least. So, um, I wish her the best of luck, and I hope she continues to dominate using that sidekick because it's like such a staple in Sanda. So, um, like, please keep winning with it. And yeah, and hopefully, well, we'll see. It's like I think maybe people who want to try to beat her, maybe they'll go to or they'll look to Sanda for ways to counter that, or at least to try to defend themselves from it. We kind of talked about it earlier, especially a side kick to the head. Just don't worry about trying to catch that, but the different ways to block, like to parry or to block, kind of to catch it with the glove and stuff. You'll want to be doing stuff like that, get it out of your face, and then you can counter from there. So that's the thing. So like in kickboxing and pro kickboxing, this is relatively newish, or it's very rare. But in Sanda, these types of attacks are much more common. So we definitely have answers for Mona, but I definitely don't want her to be losing anytime soon. I really like her. Oh yeah, one more comment here from Gorilla Grip Catch Club. I think Sanda is excellent for MMA. It's more fluid. Yep, I think it's really like that. Definitely like that fluid blend of from the stand up to the clinch to the takedown. It's really really great. So I'm glad we see eye to eye there. It's always nice. So our main thing is we try to follow that Chinese quote where we want all of you to enlighten your mind so that you can strengthen your body. So that's what we're all trying to do that. Oh, actually, tomorrow I have it listed that I did a short documentary in San Francisco here in California, uh, because that's where Bruce Lee was born. He actually had, uh, I think a lot of people know like who like about Bruce Lee's life. He had a challenge match, and that really changed his life. So that all happened in the Bay Area. So I spent like you'll see. Actually, I've showed it to some people, and they noticed that my hair changes because it took me a while to film it. So over a month or about 2 months to film at the different locations, and so hopefully you like it. That's going to come out at midnight Pacific time. And if you are a member of the YouTube channel, you can watch it now before it comes out. So if you just have to be a member at any level. We appreciate all that. So actually, yeah, if you, I should probably let you know that so that we're trying to do that club at UCLA. So once you make a club, then it's really all about fundraising, so we can get all the students to different tournaments and stuff. So if you want to support us on our YouTube channel, become a channel member. But yeah, you'll get to see videos earlier. So if you want to become a channel member, if you do it now, then you have till midnight to watch the movie or watch the short documentary before it's released at midnight. And um, yeah, yeah, any kind of any kind of contribution now would be even more appreciated because if we get that club going, then well, because we already have one fighter going to compete, and yeah, it's not even in California, so the travel expenses and stuff. So think about that. We'd really appreciate it. The students would really appreciate it. So that's what the money would be used for. So we would be pouring it into the Sanda Club at UCLA. So um, yeah, so it would be definitely going to a great cause. Oh, Gorilla Grip, you just became a member. All right, thank you. And yeah, it's inexpensive, so anything is appreciated. Anything is appreciated. So yes, thank you, Gorilla Grip Catch Club. Um, yeah, so hopefully you like the video. Um, I'm like I'm curious to see how it's received. Hopefully you like it because what the things that I kind of like is like the history to know of like how things were back in the day. So like when Bruce Lee was there in the 60s and how Chinatown has changed. I went to one location where it was a theater where this big incident happened, and it's pretty amazing to see like the old pictures of the theater, and it's like beautiful and like it's shining, right, all the neon and all that. And but today it's nothing like how it was. Or even Bruce Lee had a for a very short time he had his own dojo or his own school in Oakland, California, and it did close pretty quickly. It wasn't open for very long, but yeah, even the that is not even there. Now it's like a car dealership. It's a Toyota dealership. So I try to go to these different places. I try my best to find some pictures and um, what. Oh yeah, well, we'll talk about it next time. So if you watch it, because there's one thing that um, I mentioned, an actress that Bruce Lee did a presentation with, where he accompanied her for her promos for that movie, and the movie that she did was a chapter from one of the like greatest martial art books in Chinese history. So it's considered like one of the four main classics of Chinese literature. It's like the Water Margin. I've done a few podcasts about it, and so it's just a very, very long book. It's about, or sometimes it's also translated as the Heroes of the Marsh or Outlaws of the Marsh, where you have all these people who are somewhat like righteous, or at least a lot of them get framed, and like the government's so corrupt, and they end up basically having to escape to this remote marshy area. Well, this mountain that's surrounded by a marsh, and they're like these high level generals and all these people who like know how to fight, and so then they end up creating like kind of like a little bit of a rebellion against the corrupt government at that time. And this was based in kind of like a real time period right before the actual collapse of the Song dynasty. So anyway, the that woman, you'll see in the documentary. So Bruce Lee accompanies her, Diana Chong. So he accompanies her to promote that movie, but the movie is uh, like legendary. Well, it's a part of, it's like a chapter of this legendary book. So it's like kind of all comes together with kung fu in mind. So um, yeah, so looking forward to your hearing your thoughts about it. Hopefully you like it. All right. So with that being said, let's all try to enlighten our minds and to strengthen our bodies. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.